Aloha! Welcome to MoonDaze on Monday here at New Paradigm Healing Academy Facebook group, and later on uploaded to my YouTube channel at Akashic Astrologer. I am Michelle Jericho Poplar of Queen Mabsy LLC, here to tell you about the astrology. Yeah, so last week was pretty heavy, and things will be getting more airy and light, but they will also be speeding up, so you might feel a little more fire in your soul as we transitioned from Pisces into Aries season and are enjoying more planetary activity in the sign of Aries. We are having a stellium of planets. Hi, Mom. There's my mom. So for those who watch later on YouTube, I do this. If you want to come and participate live in the show notes below, 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, more or less. I try to get on time, but I'm a Pisces, so I'm generally a little late to things. So we show up here and we chat. If you have any questions and you want me to answer them live, I try to keep tabs on the chat so that way I can communicate, getting a little better with that communication. Well, let's see here. I gotta also do the thing where I do a yay, and then I comment on the comment, right? That's the trick. All right, now. Okay, so here, and then we reply, just to get more people on, and then mute, and let's see. Okay, and then we go at everyone. There we go. Let's see if we can get some more people participating today. If not, you're going to watch the replay and the vibration will be... Ooh, there's a couple of white terns flying in the sky over there. Oh, they're so beautiful. I would turn the camera, but I probably would mess everything up if I did that. So I'm just going to just project that lovely image to you. So, flight. We're getting ready to take flight as a collective. There's been a lot of heavy energy, a lot of heavy, thick, dense, watery energy, lots washing away, literally showing up as heavy water as well around. And I talked a lot because it's just so it was so striking, and how the astrology showed up over the solstice. The solstice. Still Mercury is in shadow. When Mercury is still in shadow, if it goes retrograde and it comes direct, there's still a little period where things are getting adjusted, and we call that Mercury coming out of its shadow, or retrograde coming out of its shadow, as in we're still clearing out those old programs and beliefs and old paradigms, and we're working with the practice, we're working with following the feeling to promote healing. We are on March 30th, and I'm going to go over, first, normally I go over the big transits, but today I'm going to just go over the energies of today. We have a full moon in Libra. That's going to be occurring on April 1st. Just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. It's really happening on April 1st. And Easter is going to be, this is the week of Easter. I'd say Easter. Oh, hello, let the plane carry all your worries away. As of today, we have have Venus at 29 degrees, and she's in Aries. She's been traveling through Aries. It's like when the girlfriend's at her boyfriend's house and it's kind of messy and it's a dude's place, and she's like, oh, I think she spent the weekend there, and she's like, yeah, we've had some fun. It's time for me to go home. She's like had enough of the guys like having to tidy up after him and like do all the things for him. So she's like listening to his problems, because Chiron is also in Aries, and she crossed over that, and he's like, oh yeah, my family didn't really love me. And she's like, oh yes, I love you, you are still fine. But then she gets enough of it, and then by the time Venus gets to 29 degrees Aries, she's like, all right, enough of this already, I'm gonna go home. Where's home? Home is Taurus. So Taurus is the next sign. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Taurus is, I like Taurus, the Disney cartoon, Ferdinand the Bull. He'd be in the grass, with the flowers, just like, I want to sit here and eat flowers and just enjoy. Hello. So my kiddo's home from a bike ride. I'm on a Facebook Live, just so you know. Say hi.
Hi. We just came back from like a mile long.
Yeah, that's good. Aries season is all about moving your body, getting out there. So good job, kids.
So hot, we got saw a mirage.
You saw a mirage? Oh, you better drink some water.
Yeah,
Rehydrate. Yes, go get. Yeah, totally. I'm glad you guys got out there. So Aries season, the best way to transmute any and all the tension that is going to be happening as we keep going through Aries season is to move your body as much as possible, because Aries is about the body. Aries actually is rules the first house of the chart, which is the body. So if we get into worry or stress or anything during this time, because there's so much activity, we have Neptune, Saturn, Sun, Chiron, and Venus, and soon we will have Mars and Mercury joining. There's just gonna be a lot of energy in Aries. Aloha, Deborah, nice to see you. So as of March 30th, Venus is gonna be like, I don't know, and the moon in Capricorn, or no, sorry, I say Capricorn, Mercury retrograde. Moon is in Virgo, and moon is hanging out with the South Node, and that is trying to Venus. And it's like, okay, I don't really feel like these daily routines are really doing the best for my body. And how am I going to transmute that? How do I feel better in my body? What daily routines and what new ways that aren't the old? Gotta think outside of the box, because none of the old ways work anymore. We try to go back to the old ways, but they're just not in alignment. And we resist them. And what we resist persists. So if the old things that we used to do, we don't want to do, then perhaps maybe there's a different way of doing it. Uranus in Taurus has been shaking up the things that we thought were fixed for a while now, and at the end of April is going to be moving into Gemini. Uranus rules Aquarius, and it was in a trine to Pluto, and it's in a trine to Neptune, and then there's a trine from Neptune and Saturn to Pluto. Pluto rules transformations through ordeals, and boy has there been a lot of what we perceive to be ordeals or challenges, things that are happening for us, so that we have to change. We have to change and we have to rearrange. It's becoming quite clear that the old ways of doing and being might not be in alignment for the collective. So, humans have an opportunity to collectively see that we all agree that, hey, some of these things that we keep doing, old systems, don't really work or serve me or you or them. And then as we shift by paying attention to holistically caring for ourselves and figuring out what's in alignment for us in our individuation, as we're fractals of God, Source, Creator, and figuring out, okay, well, that doesn't work for me so much. So instead of trying to force ourselves into the things that just don't work anymore, try something different. Anything different. And then the paradigm will shift, because micro movements, Virgo, Moon in Virgo, is about making micro movements. As of the 31st, the moon will still be in Virgo, and the moon will oppose Mars in Pisces. Now imagine Mars being in Pisces. It's like Mars is in detriment in Pisces. So basically Mars gets an opportunity to wash away the old ego, to cleanse, so to speak, to release and come back to spirit, because he has to surrender to the tides. And a positive way of looking at Mars in Pisces is a surfer, somebody who radically accepts that in order to catch the wave, he needs to paddle out repeatedly. And it's a cyclical loop of, this is in order for me to get the experience and the lessons that Pisces has of the two fish swimming, chasing each other's tails. Mars in Pisces needs to do the work, paddle out, find where the break is, line up with it, paddle into the wave and catch it and ride the wave to get that spiritual alignment and experience of high self, to connect, to release and ground himself or our small self to connect to the high self. And Mars in Pisces has that opportunity for us to wash and cleanse the small self and align it to the high self, Pisces. So the moon in Virgo, and also there will be a yod of this day when Mercury in Pisces and Mars in Pisces will point to the moon in Virgo. How do we get our thoughts, Mercury, and our actions, Mars, into alignment with our daily routines? It is through the surrender and the radical acceptance that micro movements do make the shift happen. That maybe doing the dishes earlier in the day makes the shift happen. Just any little difference. Instead of resisting the micro movements of the daily routines, we lean into them and do it differently. South Node in Pisces. The North Node, or South Node in Virgo, and the North Node in Pisces. The North Node continues to go through Pisces collectively, shifting our unconscious, Pisces. The North Node is the collective purpose. where we must lean into and go in order to shift the paradigm. And it doesn't look like the known, it looks like the complete and utter unknown. And what a lot of us are facing here in Hawaii is this question of, is there a higher power? Why would a higher power allow such a flood, a catastrophe happen to good people? Because when there is a calamity or an unpreferred outcome where so much suffering occurs, it's very hard for us to say, oh, this was for us. Not okay to tell the people who lost their homes and their property and their animals that is for them. That is not a trauma-informed way to go about telling somebody, oh, this was in the astrology. However, upon looking at it, it was quite clear it was in the astrology. Why? It will become clear as things change. The best thing that we can do is take right action with all of the planets in Aries to help the affected communities. And in each place, location that you are around the globe, there's people that you, Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius, that will be rising collectively, because there's this underlying tone because of Uranus and Taurus shaking up the things that we weren't fixed, very clearly pointing out the systems of the government that we've had in place aren't serving or meeting the collective's needs. So in order to shift the paradigm, first we do the daily practice, get ourselves into alignment, fill up our cups, so that way our cup overfloweth, so that we can be of service to those who are experiencing misalignments and who are in need. And then with that overflowing cup, we can giveth and get that energy exchange returning back. We are in interesting times, and we don't lower our vibration. We have the North Node in Pisces saying, no, don't lower your vibration, despite how dense things seem. We hold it through being grounded in our daily micro movements. It looks like so simple, the simplest things of taking care of ourselves. Love thy neighbor as thyself. First, thyself must come first. You don't have the energy to go up and help with debris clearing, then maybe you should have no business doing that. Instead, maybe conserve your energy and then share out the volunteer information to people who have the ability. Donate or clean out your closets and get some clothes together to donate. Those little micro movements can change everything for a family who needs the help. So, that's Tuesday on the 31st. Now, when the moon moves into Libra, we are stationing for a full moon here in Hawaii. So change the time for your time zone. So we're in Hawaii Standard Time in Hawaii. And so here, the apex of the full moon, which they call the pink moon, is 4:11 p.m. And the activity that is happening for us, the 12th degree, that means the moon is at 12 degrees Libra. There's 30 degrees in each astrological sign. And when a planet is at a degree, there's more nuance, more information as to the meaning of that number. So 12, 2 means feelings, 1 means heart, 2 and 1 equal 3, 3 equals beliefs. So how do we believe 12 degrees Libra? How do we believe we need to feel in Libra means relationships and justice, equanimity. What do we believe is equal? With the moon, when there's a full moon, that means the sun is opposed to the moon, and that's in the opposite sign of Aries. So the sun is at 12 degrees Aries. The sun reflects the high heart or the soul. So where do we believe, what right actions in our body, Aries, do we need to take? Do we believe that we need to take 3 to 3 and 12 to 3? What do we believe we need to do with our bodies in order to be in right relationships? Because you can't be in a right relationship with anyone else unless you're in right relationship with yourself. Because everything is God, or nothing is of God. The only things that are misaligned are fragments of God that have forgotten that they are part of God. And that looks like density. Does that make it good, bad, right, or wrong? That's up for the individual to decide. There are things that are unpreferred and programs that we do not wish to repeat. And in order for humanity incarnated into this third density, in order to experience itself and experience the opportunity to have choice. And without the darkness, without the yang and the yin, there would be no choice. So we find ourselves in these opportunities when there is a full moon. Or the points get to from one sign to another. You have an opportunity to choose. Choose differently. And as of this week, Venus, our values and what we love, she's giving us a choice point to choose to be at home in our bodies and value our bodies enough so that we can fill up our cups, so that we can be more enlightened in order to be of service. This full moon is also hanging out in Libra with a Kuiper Belt object that's way out there past Pluto. Now all these Kuiper Belt objects past Pluto are considered dwarf planets, and they are all named after creation deities across the world. The creation deity that the moon is next to is Makemake. Makemake is a Rapa Nui, or Easter Island. Interesting that Easter is starting on the full moon. Eastar is also pulled from the goddess Ishtar, and it is historically in the Christianity, that's the death and rebirth of Jesus. So beginning of spring. So a lot of belief systems have gone into this time. So we're in this period of rebirth. And it's interesting to me that Makemake, the creation deity of Rapa Nui, or Easter Island, known by the colonizers as that, is activating this point. Creation of feelings. The moon represents feelings. So there's something to pay attention to. We have Venus, as of this full moon, will be in Taurus. She will be feeling pretty good. She will meet up with with Ceres, who's an asteroid, also known as Demeter. Ceres in Greek mythology, and Greek and Roman mythology, was known as Persephone's mother. Persephone was her daughter, and Pluto, aka Hades, took the daughter and took her to the underworld and made her the queen of the underworld. Then Ceres was sad, so winter became a thing. So then there were seasons, because Persephone was only allowed to come and visit her mother during the spring and summer. So half time in the underworld, queen of the underworld, and then the other time she'd get to visit mom up, and there was spring and happiness. I'm finding that interesting that there is a square or challenging aspect to the planet Pluto, aka Hades, in Aquarius from Taurus. So the feeling of, how we seasonally work with what we value, because Ceres to me represents seasons, and there's a season for this and a season for that. So we're in a season where the people, Aquarius, are committed, because Juno is hanging out with Pluto in Aquarius, and she represents commitments. The people are committed to new values. So it's a new season of the people going, hey, these old values aren't quite working. So you're going to see a lot more of that activated from this full moon. Might be a little bit, so just, use your discernment with the people around you, feelings around how information is shown. And it's with Neptune having gone through Pisces and now in Aries, we have the media and the visuals that we see. It's pretty clear we don't know what's real and what's not. So Saturn is there also in Aries going, hey, maybe we need to use a little more structure and discernment when it comes to taking right actions of our thoughts of the things that we see. Maybe do more things in real life and less on the mystical rectangle. So for Jupiter in Cancer will be trine to the planets Mercury and Vesta in Pisces, and the North Node will be moving to 8 degrees Pisces. So we're going to be making new decisions around what's unknown. We're going to expand new and invest in new consciousness ideas, and women will be coming up with these ideas, because Pallas Athena is there too. Mars is like been in Pisces long enough where he's like, you know what? These ladies got some good ideas. Let's like let them do it. let's encourage and let them do it. And that innovation will move forward. It might not seem like it's so, but the astrology to me points that it's so. So it is. So ladies, don't be silent on your good ideas. Put them out there. If you do a new moon intention or a full moon intention, if you set a full moon intention, set it so that you are in right relationship, believing in your body, believing that you are in right relationship with your body, then everything else will fall into alignment. It sounds so simple, but it really, truly is that simple. It's simple, simple, simple. And if you need assistance with getting more in alignment with your body, I definitely recommend Isaac's Somatic Wellness group. We meet every other week, so bi-weekly, and we work together on just yin yoga stretches and talk about our feelings of why we resist doing certain movements. It definitely has been assisting me with things and helping me out with healing my bone in a gentle way, because we have a lot of support there. And moving on. Okay, so after we cross over the full moon period into Thursday and Friday, the Libra moon will continue on into Friday here in Hawaii. And on Saturday, it's going to move into Scorpio, and it will oppose Venus in Taurus. Okay, so that is going to be a pull between our values and what we want to be comfortable with, and like, oh, I want to eat this yummy food, and I might be tempted to go back to old ways. And Scorpio, so you might be tempted to go back into like old habits on Saturday. There will be a nice continued trine between Jupiter and Mercury, so it'll be easier to expand on the nurturing thoughts. So, what's the practice? Where do I get this from? Who does it belong to? And how is it for me? Asking the question on Saturday, as the challenges will be thick with the values and the heavy square from Venus to Pluto in Aquarius. There will be some very interesting. We might see some interesting developments in the news when it comes to the feminine rising, interestingly enough, but it will be good ultimately. Moving on into Sunday, so that squared Pluto from Venus will kind of lighten up a little bit, and then there will be the Sun and Moon will still be in Scorpio Sunday, and the Sun will be in a harder, challenging aspect to Jupiter. So your heart or soul will be pushed to expand. You have no choice but to expand the nurturing aspects. Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter rules expansion. So yeah, this has just been very interesting times that we're in, and I'm getting curious about how these things unfold for you in your personal lives. I have definitely been experiencing the transits so literally, and it's cool because like I'm like, oh, that's how that showed up. Not necessarily that it predicts precisely. Oh yeah, that's right, there will be a water trine too here on Sunday with the moon, Mercury, and Jupiter. So that will be our feelings hitting off our thoughts, feelings in Scorpio. So those hidden feelings around our actions, and I'll be going over to the thoughts about how we connect to spirit, Pisces, and how we nurture ourselves and expand on that nurturing ourselves. So there will be a nice flow of energy despite that square aspect from the Jupiter in Cancer to the Sun in Aries. And if none of this makes any sense to you, because astrology, I'm talking too much jargon, that's okay. Just listen to the vibration of my words. Because just know that this is all happening for us. We're being reprogrammed right now. We're reprogramming ourselves. Because when you look up into the night sky, you're truly just looking into your own soul. It's your own internal clock. It's a paradox, I tell you. What as above, so below, as within, so without. This is just a way to clock our calendars and anticipate when the shifts into the new paradigm happen, because it doesn't just happen overnight, it happens in increments, because otherwise it would be boring. It would be so boring, and we definitely didn't incarnate as individuated the aspects of God, Source, Creator, to experience anything boring, did we? No, not even a little bit. And I am excited to see how this week unfolds and beyond. So mahalo for entertaining my entrainment time today, and I will see you next moon day. I love you. Bye.